What's going on, guys? DarkSword255 here, and today we are jumping right into the event dungeon. Are you struggling to even progress? As you probably have seen, if you've tried it or just watched other content creators, this dungeon is insane. Now, there are different tiers that you want to try to get to, and I'll go ahead and jump into that, but there is one champion that I think is actually giga broken for this dungeon. And I don't think I've seen any videos or I've seen anybody really talking about him, but that is my boy, and I'm a huge fan of the Lizards faction, Sulfuryion. Now, why is Sulfuryion so important? Well, Sulfuryion, his passive right here, fills the turn meter by 5% for each HP debuff placed. The great thing about this, right? So he's healing for when HP burns are activated. In general, he is healing. So he went with Volcanos. I don't remember what stage you start seeing Volcanos, but when Volcanos puts those HP burns down because you're putting buffs on all your champions, he is healing your entire team for that percentage of HP burn, meaning that you can make more accessible teams because of this one champion right here. Now, to become part of my team, click the link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 more amazing epic champions as you level up. Here's how you do it. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description, register with a brand new email, launch raid, and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this chance to get a free Elenaril along with 3 epics as you progress through raid. Click on my link right now and let's get started. The team that I ended up coming up with, it's not a 100% team, and that's mainly because I'm lazy. I'm mainly lazy. I could re-gear a lot of these champions, and maybe I will just to get to stage 30, because I've tried stage 30 and I was very close to beating it. But again, I need to like really kind of move some gear around a little bit more and change how some of my champions are built. Now, obviously, you're going to be looking at this team right here, and you're going to say, Dark Sword, this is the most whale of a team. You're using a mythic. You're using a mythic right here. You have Teox and you have Odin. Like, that is the most ridiculous, like, whale of a team. Like, obviously, like, you have crazy characters. Like, of course you can do it, but you can easily supplement every single one of these characters other than, obviously, Sulfuryion here. The reason I'm using mainly Lizards, right? Because I have a Teox. And Teox is my nuker, right? So I'm using Teox as my main damage dealer. You do not have to use Teox. You can use Thor. You can use Ethos. You can use the Rabbit. You can use anybody who's that drops a huge nuke. I would say probably obviously not Ganuk because he's a single target and he's also kind of nerfed for this. I did try this team out with Trunda instead, just to see like how it feels, and it does work. Now, the reason I'm using Odin is mainly for he has a stun and a decrease defense down. He also here, I'll actually go ahead and I'll do this. I'll show you guys Odin. I'll show you guys his skills. So his A2, which is very important. I'm using Odin as not only a control champion, but also for damage, right? He stuns everybody, number 1, with his A2. Then he also puts a decreased defense down, which is very useful. And his A3 hits like a truck. The thing that is a little bit scary about this, right? And how this team can fail is if he steals the unkillable buff, then you're cooked. You're cooked. I have him in this is a PvP set gear. So I have him relatively flat. Again, he's doing he could honestly be built a little bit better, but he's built a good enough for me to do what I need to do, right? A ton of accuracy. I think you need more than 450 accuracy, or maybe it's 500. Not 100% sure on that, but what's important is that I have a protection set on him. Now, why is the protection set so important? Well, it is because of Odin's passive. Every 9 turns, place a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. Also applies a buff spread. So he is placing a block damage buff that is across all of your champions, and there is a chance of it being protected. So if I wanted to build Odin for PvE for this dungeon in particular, I would probably take him out of the stone skin and put him in maybe a 9-piece protection set. You know, again, I'm mainly using Odin for the block damage, right? Because the block damage is so pivotal because A, if it's protected, then the boss doesn't strip it from you and you can survive those big hits. So if you have like a Rosh, you have a Helicath, you can supplement that in for Odin. Now I'm using Lazarus as a block damage. You don't need a block damage and protection. So you can use Pythion instead. And the great thing about Pythion is he has damage mitigation with his passive. He heals with his A1. So when he attacks, he heals the lowest HP target, as well as he has a revive that gives you a strengthen, and he puts block buffs down. So again, it's very important when you're running this team that you're running protection sets. It's very, very important. Now you can use any champion that has protection, you know, Duchess, Pythion, you know, there's a bunch. Obviously Lazarus is the one who I'm using, right? Those protected buffs are so pivotal because the boss will 100% strip, and if they don't get stripped, then you can absorb the damage and you can power through it, right? There's a lot of different strategies that go into tackling this event dungeon. And just real quick, actually I need to do this because I want him to lead and then use this. Whoops. So I had this set up before. So I have Sulfuryion immediately activating the burns. I have Odin. He's going to be doing this first, doing his stun. Now, if you want, right, you can use instead, like, if again, it depends on what you're struggling with. Are you struggling with the wave? Do you want wave management or do you want protection? I would say protection is a little bit more important. On my free-to-play account, I have run Armons instead, just so I can control the waves, right? So there are two different strategies that go into this event dungeon. Strategy one is what I like to do is you beat the boss down without killing everybody. Now, if you do kill the boss, that's what that protection is, and you can stay alive, right? The goal is to keep all of the, keep at least one of the ads alive so the boss is not transformed. That's strategy number one. It's a little bit more difficult to do that, especially with Lazarus and Odin, because they both are stripping buffs. And we want the boss to put down her taunt so that everybody is focusing that champion, and then you can't kill the ads because she puts unkillable down. That's one strategy. Strategy two is to nuke the wave, which a lot of people are using Seer comps for that, and then they're using a champion to basically just survive and using Brimstone to kill the boss. So I'm going to showcase, guys, not only this team because of Sulfuryion, and he's amazing, but I also will show you the other team that I'm also running. That's a little bit safer. Now, again, this team is not a 100% team because I don't really want to re-gear Odin. And what I'll show you, we're going to obviously jump into the run right now, and I'll show you what could happen here, right? So as you can see, HP burn is put down on everybody, but look, once the HP burn is activating, look at all of the healing that is being done because of Sulfuryion. Now, what is scary, and you have to be mindful of, is the Moto Macabre right here. If you, because of his passive, he gets a turn meter and he can nuke. That's another reason why it's not 100% of a, see, and that's what, yeah, we didn't have the protection buff on these two. So this run's going to end up failing. If anybody has an HP burn on them and they die, stupid Volcanos over here, Volcanos will put a block debuff on you. I need to go ahead and change that. So when he puts his block damage down, it's protected 100% of the time. Perfect. He's dead. Odin's gonna absolutely obliterate this person. Yep. Almost 2 million damage, which is insane. Okay, perfect. Putting the shields down. There goes the block damage. Perfect. She puts the taunt down. So what I've also messed around with is I have run this without having, basically, so Sulfuryion doesn't activate his A2, which is a strip. And I have also run it with Odin not stripping as well. It does work, but it's not as safe. We're about a minute into this run. This guy's gonna die. What is a bummer? Okay, so Odin's probably gonna die right here. Yeah. That's okay. I cannot believe he didn't die. That's awesome. But we should be able to kill the boss from here because A, the healing that we have from Sulfuryion is just insane, and the damage that we have from Teox. Again, all of these champions can be changed out with other champions. Again, I'm just using this group because A, I love lizards, the lizard man faction, number one. Number two, I just have, this team works like super well. And the great thing about if Sulfuryion goes down, like obviously he just did right there, Lazarius has a revive. And since Volcanos is dead, you're able to, there's no block revive being put down. So obviously, like I said, as long as you have a Sulfuryion, you can get at least to stage 29. At least to stage 29. That's team number one. I really, like I said, I really like Sulfuryion. I don't think a lot of people are talking about him or bringing him in. Because obviously not everybody has him, but like nobody's talking about that. It's insane. So that's team number one, right? And that team would be a 100% team if I made my block damage protected. I just, it works well enough for me. I'm lazy, really. The other team that I have been running as well, and this is the strategy number 2 how to take this down. I am using Loki. Loki is great because when he goes under 50% HP, he puts his passive, which is let me look. He has his passive right here. Also put his perfect veil buff on this champion for 1 turn. Whenever they drop below 50% HP, if this champion's HP is below 50%, the target, when targeted by an enemy skill, has a 100% chance to evade it. So once he gets below that 50% threshold, he will not get hit by the boss. So I have emergency heal. Sorry, not emergency heal. I have brimstone on him. I also have golden elixir on him. And look, as you can tell, like I don't have him booked, right? Now, you don't have to use Loki. You can use a variety of different champions. People are using Geomancer instead. People are using they have this other team right here, which again I was messing around with. It is Geo and Volgoth. Basically, Volgoth and Geomancer stay alive, and Volgoth is tanking all of the hits, right? This team is great too. You can replace Loki with, like I said, with Geomancer. You can also do Ultimate Death Knight. I've seen people run Ultimate Death Knight as well. Basically, anybody who can apply like the Brimstone is what is killing the boss with this team, and I'll go ahead and showcase it. So obviously, this is a Seer team, but you don't have to necessarily use Seer here, right? You can use any champion that is going to obliterate the wave, right? Seer is just kind of the easiest to use. Obviously, I know not everybody has her, but pretty straightforward. Now, this run is between 2 to 3 minutes. This, with how I have things built, is a lot like more of a 100% team. Like I said, very quick. But again, you're using Brimstone to kill the boss here, right? Like you're not. Obviously, Loki's not doing a lot of damage. You're building him for survivability, but I don't really like these teams because the stat requirement that you need to get these teams to work are absolutely insane. You need like 100,000 HP. You need a ton of speed. You need regeneration gear, and you need immortal gear. It's crazy. Like the stats you need are just really, really ridiculous. Loki's a little bit easier because A, he was a login champion. Number one. Number two, most people, if you have Loki, also have his 5-star blessing because it was a login chance to get it. So he's a pretty easy champion to use here, right? Pretty easy. And I'll go ahead and I'll showcase how I have him built. He's probably the easiest to build out comparatively to, like, I would even argue Geomancer, right? Because like, yes, you're using Geomancer's A3 and then having the boss hurt itself. And again, we're trying to figure out ways for the event dungeon to be farmable and easy. And again, the goal is to get above stage 25 if you can. Stage 20 is fantastic if that's like where your account is. You definitely want to try to strive for the beginner level of level 25. Level 25 for this dungeon is the way that you get 5 and 6-star pinpoint. That's really important. And the reason that level 25 is important is because that gives you the opportunity. See, I don't have enough HP on him. That's actually the first time I've seen that run not work. This is how, again, see, like I have him You know what? I also probably need more speed on him. You really need like 240 speed, and you really need it to be at like 90 plus. You needed this to be at like 90 plus. Again, you know, I don't even have masteries on him. I probably could put masteries on him, and this would make it, you know, a lot easier just with like more HP. But yeah, I mean, like that is literally the first time that team has failed. So just real quick, we're gonna go and jump to the end of this run right here, just so I can show you. I've run this maybe 30 times and it's never failed. Of course, I have problems when I go ahead and click record. But as you can see, this 4-minute time is insane. It definitely doesn't take this long normally. Unfortunately, oh, we're definitely selling this. Gross. You know, he needs to be built a little bit faster and a little bit more HP. I mean, this normally takes around 2 to 3 minutes on average. So a pretty, I want to say accessible in quotes, because getting more than 90 to 100,000 HP is like with like high speed is really insane. Also, you would 100% need a golden elixir. Like 100%. If you do not have a golden elixir, you cannot do this. You cannot do this boss. And that's just kind of for like any build other than obviously if you're using Sulfuryion. The relic for Sulfuryion doesn't. I actually might change this. I'm not 100% if I'm going to, but I might change his thing. But yeah, guys, that's a pretty obviously an overview of a team that I like to use. And it's like I said, you can swap out a lot of the characters. You don't have to use as long as you have Sulfuryion. It's a lot, I think, easier to build a team around him than it necessarily is to build around these solo killing like champions. I mean, again, my own perspective, and I have some pretty crazy gear and I can't even really do it. So, you know, you'll have to let me know, guys, what you think of this team down in the comments below. If you have a Sulfuryion, let me know if you've tried this out at all. Again, like I said, it's pretty sneaky OP. As long as you can get above, like I said, level 25, so you can have the ability to get those mythical pinpoint gear, like that is really what is important. If you can't get above stage 20 is a great place to farm if your account cannot progress past then, because at least you're getting 5 and 6 star pinpoint gear. You won't be able to get mythical, but that's okay. Pinpoint gear is really that important. And really, since we're doing a fusion currently right now, doing your dungeon divers after you do whatever your main stat is with the event dungeon is great. Obviously, we're doing it for this particular fusion, Thorfinn right now, but you know, there's gonna obviously be more fusions. This event dungeon lasts until August, so there's probably another 2 or 3 more fusions that we'll be able to farm this. But yep, like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of this build of this champion, and I will see everybody in the next one.